let's talk about Megalopolis. This is Francis Ford Coppola's, well, he describes it as a science fiction film. Not quite sure about that. This is what you would call Francis Ford Coppola's $100 million folly. It's his magnum opus, the movie he has thought about making since the 1980s. And it focuses on a designer played by Adam Driver, who is trying to imagine a world and how to create civilization to bring it to its penultimate height. And it imagines a world in which the Roman Empire never fell, but continued into modern times. So people have Roman haircuts. Some people wear robes. There's some kind of Roman themed uh, clothing, architecture, fashion, whatnot. It's very all Roman inspired, as if Rome from the past came into the present modern times. It features a cast where we have the mayor, a whole bunch of Giancarlo Esposito is the mayor, Franklin. John Voight plays another character in this. Aubrey Plaza plays, she's listed as actress, and Adam Driver's character is actor. Natalie Emanuel is in it, and Shia LaBeouf rounds out the cast with Chloe Feynman. An amazing cast. Dustin Hoffman is in this. I mean, he gathered together some really amazing actors to make a complete piece of like incoherent garbage. Now, that doesn't mean it does not have its moments, but that there is any story to be told in this, it's beyond me. I never felt, and there are a lot of laughs in this movie, and they're all unintentional. So many laughs and gaffes. I was shaking my head, saying, what am I doing watching this film? It's nearly 3 hours. It's a mess. It's a mess. There are a couple moments. There's a moment in the middle of the movie where the lights come on and a human walks in front of the screen and asks a question that happened at my screening. And then the screen goes smaller and it's like a little video essay about civilization and how can we progress as a society. Like, I like that Coppola is asking questions about why do we choose to live like this? Why can't we create a better society? There are really great questions the movie asks, but not in a way that's even interesting. It's frustrating to see a master of someone who has made arguably one of the greatest American movies ever made, The Godfather and The Godfather 2. Just create this mess. And people don't believe it. It's like everyone I know who's seen it thinks it's a mess and it's just god awful. And I walked out. I don't know what I'm supposed to think about this. The video essay part is kind of interesting, but wow, this thing, there's what the characters, things that should be dramatic moments get bursts of laughter. There are violent moments in the film, a couple, and it's just embarrassing laughter. Here's the guy that created the scene with the horse head in the producer's bed. That's a horrific scene. It's very dramatic. No one laughs during that scene. All the acts of violence in this are laughable. So I don't know. It's really a curiosity because every time I tell someone how awful this movie is, they don't believe me. And I'm like, no, believe me. Go see it for yourself. So I'm really curious. I don't know what you think, Alan. What did you think of Megalopolis?
Yeah, well, you said everyone you talked to said it was a mess, and they didn't understand it. Everyone I've talked to about this appreciates the story behind it, and I'll say this: I definitely liked it better than you, and I think I got what you didn't get in it.
What's that?
Okay, so here's the thing: I think you got a few things wrong. One is the movie opens with a title page. I'll just say that that says Megalopolis, an American fable. That's
Right.
what the movie is. It's a fable. When you say that the Roman Empire never went away, no. What this movie attempts to say is that the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire, seems to be cyclical, and it happens at every turn of the century. And
Right.
that movie is essentially likening America, and America is going down to the fall of the Roman Empire. There are certain players that played to the fall that exist today in American politics and American society.
Right.
You can kind of see it there, and you know, if he's been, I think it's true that he's been writing this since the 80s, because you know, you can take the players and the groups in this movie and liken them to this party, that party, these people, this movement. There's certainly things there that you could say, is this Trump? Is this the Democrats? Is this the Republicans? But at the same time, he's not going that on the nose by saying, okay, these guys represent conservatives, these guys represent, because I think if you look at the movie and you compare it to today, the players are in the wrong positions today. I think modern politics has changed so much that the traditional roles you would apply in this movie have switched around. That said, and I'll say this: the movie plays out like a surrealist play, meaning
Right.
you're not going to get any authentic acting. You're not going to get, no one in this movie is doing method. The acting is that of, I would say, a Greek play. You know, in terms of the way dialogue is delivered, in the way dialogue is written. You know, words are repeated over and over again to make. Right. So this is a very much a surrealistic story being told. Let's see. I call this. I felt like this is Francis Ford Coppola. It's a thought study from Francis Ford Coppola. He's been thinking about the direction that society has been going, and this is decades of journaling comes to this. And I think that's the problem with the movie, is because me watching it and me being kind of interested in politics, being very interested in politics and how this country has evolved over time. I get a lot of what he's trying to say here. At the same time, I felt like I was barely holding on to the movie and to the story. I allowed myself to let go for a moment, I'd be completely lost. And that happened at the end of the movie. There's this thing, there's this substance that Adam Driver's character wants to make the world out of, and the substance, it just what? And again, you're just barely grasping on to this story. I think I appreciate this movie as someone who likes a movie that makes you think. And that is not telling a story in a traditional way, and is trying to say something about current culture. I appreciate this movie. That said, I'd probably never see this movie ever again.
Yeah, well, you got more out of it than I did. I will say I like the video essay part that's kind of in the middle of the movie, where did they bring the lights on at your screening?
No.
So at my screening, they brought up the lights. Someone walked out, a person. So it became like a live event. And then it went to a smaller box on the big screen. It was a small box, and did a little video essay. I'm not saying that the movie's not filled with ideas, but there are better. Oppenheimer is a better way, because there is a story in that. We follow the man Oppenheimer, and there are lots of ideas in that and commentary about what scientists unleashed and how that changed the world. It changed geopolitics. But it was through a story. The story here is so muddled, and you have to. Did you see it with a crowd?
There were 10 people in my crowd.
Okay,
and
my
we all sat
theater
through it,
was 100% full. I was lucky to get a seat, right? 100% full. People were laughing. It was embarrassing. And parts of the movie, they all looked like they were shot on a green screen with really kind of cheap effects.
Yeah, there's a shot in Atlanta, by the way, in the studios there.
It's I mean, yes, there are interesting ideas about civilizations, why empires fall, but can you wrap it in a story that would actually better express those ideas? Coppola can do that. Even the first line, I mean, the first words in The Godfather, I believe in America. I believe in America. And it's an immigrant talking about his belief in this country and the opportunity that
Yeah.
he's good. Coppola is proven very good at wrapping themes in a story. The story here is incoherence, and yeah, I mean, look, I
Well,
get it's like a
yeah.
modern
Look,
fable. They bring Rome to a
right. I mean,
Roman.
the themes are there. You know, it's today. The opening chapter is about debt and
Right.
how society is spending more money than it has, and then it gets into this idea of how we as a civilization are casting aside our past, uh, you know, you know, looking toward the future while unburdening ourselves with the past. You know, he hits on these themes that are very relevant. The problem is I don't think Francis Ford Coppola could rein himself in. I think he went on kind of an ayahuasca trip and then wrote this script, and it really needed to be A, whittled down, and B, you know, made much more grounded than it was. You know, there's this idea of artists and time that I get why it's there. I just not seeing the connection with it with the entire story. The idea being artists are able to stop time. And yeah, that's a comment on art, but what really does that impact have on this story? And I felt like you know, he's just rambling about his thoughts about culture and society. And so again, I appreciate it, but I would never see this movie again.
I mean, I don't know. And like most people I talked to said, I don't know what to think about this.
Yeah, it's not
And
for
I
everybody.
think
It's definitely not for everybody. I
it's
would not
art house.
casually tell people that you need to see this movie, but there are people I know who I think would enjoy this movie.
Well, I'm not one of them. I can't recommend it. If you're going to see it, it's for curious. It's because you're curious.
Yeah. And
So,
and if that's true, don't see it in IMAX. I don't think you really need to see it in IMAX.
but for sure, for sure.